Welcome to The Artist Cut, episode number 2. To watch the full conversation, you can go on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Today with me, I have a dear friend and one of the greatest artists in Toronto, Jennifer Bettencourt.
Hi.
How are you, Jennifer?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure that you're here.
I'm so excited. I think this is my first proper podcast. I don't think I've ever sat down and had a podcast interview with
Really?
anyone else. Yeah.
Well, that's a pleasure, though.
Yeah, it's my first time.
I hope that we can make it proper.
Yes.
In my end, because about you, I know that you have all the things that it needs to make a great podcast.
Aw, thank you.
That's why you have you here today.
Yay.
That's actually something that I want to say. It's a thank you for spending your time to come by and for also dedicate you as a person to come here. It means a lot to me, and I
Aw.
appreciate that.
Guys, that's so nice. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So when I invite you to come here to the show, I ask you to write something that would be part of the kicking off of this conversation. So I'm going to read it to make sure that I don't miss any words of your amazing writing.
Thank you.
Jennifer Bettencourt is a Luso-Canadian fadista that accidentally ventured into the world of fado after attempting to push it away for the most of her life. Ever since walking through that door, fado is all she thinks about, and she's never looking back. She has been singing fado professionally for almost 15 years, bringing the music to the usual Portuguese spaces as well as unconventional stages and locals, and continues to pursue with everything she has. Notably, Jennifer has very recently released her debut album, Santos Bettencourt, named after both branches of her family, and is immensely proud of this work that was 10 years in the making.
10 years.
Oh my God.
10 whole years.
Do you know that I didn't know that was 10 years in the making?
Really?
No.
Oh, I talk about it all the time, so I wasn't sure. I feel like people get sick of me. And
It's not about that, because every time that we talk, I'm pretty sure you might have mentioned it, but we always involved in that loop.
It's true.
And that bubble of music, art, stage. And then probably you have mentioned it. It's probably my bad that I haven't noticed in our conversation.
It's okay. We're always working when we're together. That's the thing. That's the problem with being friends with artists, I find, is if you're friends with other musicians, then you can't go see them play because you're probably playing, or you already have concert tickets to something else. And if you have friends who are performing arts adjacent, but also in the arts still, they're probably also at the things that you're at, but working. So I'll come and sing, and then I'll show up and you're taking photos.
That's my perfect job. That's my perfect job. I can go see you guys perform. Mm-hmm. I can work, do things that I like, and don't miss a thing. I
know. I'm really glad whenever you can make it to a show, because it's you get to get a fado show and you can get some photos.
Then it's. I think that I mentioned this before, but that's the beautiful part is it allows me to get close to the artist. You got it on the stage, and as a regular audience, we cannot go in there.
It's true.
But as a photographer, I can. And then that's the secret that I have. As a photographer, I can get there. I can get close. Nobody's going to get mad at me.
Almost on the stage.
On the stage.
And on the stage.
Literally, yeah, right? Speaking of stage, right? You release your album, Santos Bettencourt, right? I have the pleasure to be on that night. It was an amazing night, by the way.
Thank you for coming. And I was so happy that
I wouldn't miss that's for sure.
The whole corner was filled with you and friends and family, your friends and family, and also friends and not family, but friends of mine too. So it's just so nice to see you all.
We get together to make sure that we wouldn't miss anything, and it was one a beautiful night. I gotta say, and I gotta congratulate you right now, because I think that's important to be on the record. I have said it off record, but I think that we have this moment to make it on record. I want to say that you're one of my favorite artists to see live.
Aww.
If not the Luso-Canadian that sing Portuguese, and you bringing the soul of fado to our community is something amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Right?
Thank you.
And
that means a lot to me.
You're welcome, and you deserve it. That being said, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Why 10 years? What happened? I need to understand.
So this is not a project we wanted to rush. And we wanted to take our time in making sure we have the best version and making sure all of the instruments were correctly wait, I know the word.
Synchronize?
Yes, but
Tune?
there's the composition. Well, the composition of all the instruments was good. I also wanted to make a project that was relatively traditional because I find, and maybe I'm wrong here, but I've noticed with fadistas, especially modern ones, your first work should be as traditional as you can make it. But you still want to stay true to yourself. So we were trying to, me and Hernani Raposo, who produced my album, and he recorded all the instruments and he wrote all of the original arrangements as well as the lyrics to some of the songs. He wanted to make sure the composition was honoring the traditional roots of fado, but at the same time, you have to stay true to yourself as an artist. And I am not purely, fado castiço. I was born in Toronto. I was raised in Pickering, So I'm a little bit removed from the tradition, but I have the tradition that I was raised with my parents and my grandparents. So I'm a bit different. I'm a bit of an odd duck, I guess you could say, a bit of an odd duck. But I wanted to still honor myself as well as the roots of the music. So we wanted to take our time there, but then, sorry, I'm going to be rambling.
That's all right.
But then it got to a point where a few years in, also the pandemic hit. So there was that little period of 5 years.
Everyone was hit with that period of time. It feels like from another world already.
It does. But that shut things down, obviously, as it did everything else. But right before that, actually, Hernani and I sat down and we chatted and we realized that I can't just do covers. Like, it's not just good enough. Like, I can't just do traditional things. It can't just be one album with 12 or 11 or 12, 13 covers of folk songs. At this point, I am now too experienced. So much time has passed that I've become so experienced and so established, and I have created so much of an image for myself that I have to actually create originals. So we actually had to cut some of the songs we originally had planned, and I think that we had recorded, like I think we actually had recorded everything, and then Hernani was like, I think you need to focus more on originals, because
He was right, though.
he was right, and I'm so glad.
The musicians that you have on your background, they are just like incredible.
Yes.
I only met them through your music, to be fair with you. I haven't met them before.
Oh.
And yeah, I only knew them when I went to see you for the first time.
That's
I don't even know, like
true.
2 years ago. I have no idea. But I remember I was like, how come we don't know these musicians? Right? So it was through you. It was through the fact that you get involved with probably one younger community. I have no idea. The fact that I was there, it was because you were singing. Probably I wouldn't met them or see them performance if it wasn't for you.
And yes, and that's actually part of the reason why I picked the venue that I picked, was to make it as accessible as possible and bring together as many different groups of people as possible.
That venue is amazing.
It's so good, right?
And the curator was like done incredibly, right? Everything was amazing. I gotta tell you, it's not the first time that I see album being released at live, and that was so personal. And we also worked together in other different parts of the album. I think that makes the things a little bit more personal on my end. But most likely in that moment, it was like, I saw you doing something that I know that you want to do. I saw you doing something that I know how much you work for that moment, right? And that being said, right, that what is like to look at that moment when you see the family, the friends, the people that produce the album, having those musicians that work with you, how do you feel? Like when you went to the recess and everything stopped and everyone went to drink wine to the bar, what was in your mind? In the silence, let's say everything, okay, stop now, we're gonna go back again to that stage, but after the first
part, actually, honestly, I was terrified that I was not doing a good job.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't think I was entertaining everyone enough. I was definitely in my head and I was overthinking it, and I was scared.
No, you were doing amazing. Sorry to interrupt you,
That is
but
okay.
I need you to know that everyone that was there is was there because they really love to see you perform.
I had to remind myself of that
Right?
actually quite a few
And
times.
that's it. Yeah, I wanna make that as very clear as I can.
Thank you. But I needed to like talk to someone and get a second opinion. And so they told me that I was doing fine.
You were. You were. I didn't want to bug you in that moment because I know that's something that maybe you need to process on your own. But like having these moments, it's something unique, right? Tell me if I'm wrong. I believe that's unique.
No, it's absolutely unique. I don't think I'm ever gonna have that sensation again.
Until the next album, though.
If I have another album, I don't know. 10 years, baby. That's a long time.
There's no more 10 years in the making. You have the experience for doing the first one.
Oh,
I'm
gosh.
sure you're gonna do it next
Just
one.
tear the bandage off for the next one. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to do that.
Well, I'm pretty sure you're well surrounded with people that can help you do that.
Yes.
That's something that is very important in my perspective as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? We did some work together.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, when we first met was to work together.
Mm-hmm.
And then we saw each other in some live concerts along with the artist live music in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
I have the honor to work with you in some projects, and you invite me to photo shoot the cover for the album. After all the things, after all the graphic design, the way that we did the visuals of, and I know the meaning of the cover because you explained to us. Can you explain to the audience what the visuals and what they're meaning to you after everything?
Yeah, so we took two different looks, and there was like it's a twofold here. On the one hand, we took two different looks, and I loved them both so much. There's no way I could have picked one over the other. I wanted to maximize as many of those remarkable photos as possible. And at the same time, this was perfect for what ended up being a theme of duality and looking at two parts of myself. I mean, there's more than just two parts to me, but I am a complex individual. But at least in this case, especially with like, my mom's name, Santos, and my dad's name, Bettencourt, and then the fact that I have such a bit of a I have such a strong Canadian side to me as much as I do Portuguese side, and it makes me seem like two. So I wanted to actually, originally the graphic design, I wanted it to overlay in the faces, and I wanted the faces to sort of not melt into one, but almost like obscure, so if like you blur your eyes you can see one better than the other, but it would have been too confusing. So I worked with the graphic designer, and this was the sort of compromise we came up with, and I think it came out quite nice.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And it was amazing because working in this realm, working with photography and being lucky enough to work close to the artists that I've been doing for the last years, that's something that is very meaningful to me as well. So I want to say thank you as well for that.
You're very welcome.
Because you could pick anybody else's. It's a lot of tons of talent photographers around there, and you decide to go with my work, and I was very pleased to do it. And the team that did, I know for sure that the team was around.
It was a remarkable team, and chat, let me tell you. I did not plan on having the team. So just the fact that he was insistent, and I was so glad that he was, because I didn't expect there to be a whole team for hair, makeup, and everything. And then you suggested more and more things, and I'm so used to doing everything by myself. And that is a trauma response, and it is a fault. It is not necessarily a good thing to always be doing everything by yourself all the time. And so the fact that you introduced the makeup artist to me, Elisa, and then you introduced and you really recommended that I would go with some professional hair services with Darlene, and then we got there, and Celia helping us out as well. Everything was perfect, and it was so smooth, and I'm so happy that we actually did have a team.
I strongly believe in teamwork.
Yeah,
I knew that would make the difference.
And
That's why I was pushing you that, right? So your album is recent. We could talk about your album and your music and everything, but I think that's nice to know a little bit about you now for those who don't know, which I find very hard to someone don't know you. But anyway,
I'm an enigma.
in that little text that you sent to me, you mentioned from the beginning that you push Father away.
Yes.
I want to know more about it. How come?
I didn't like
You didn't
it.
like to listen until you're singing it, or
That's exactly it. I
Okay.
didn't like it until I started singing it, until I actually looked at the words and paid attention to what I was singing and paid attention to the actual structure of the song and what was being said. It also spoke to the sort of suppressed teenage goth inside of me, because so many songs are about romanticizing death and dying and the mortality.
you were singing Evanescence on the Father thing?
I mean, okay, I was at the time also listening to Evanescence, a lot of Evanescence. When I started singing Father, I was listening to a lot of Evanescence. It's funny because I don't know how other singers feel, but we all have idols. I'm sure you have
I have
idols.
tons of them. I not even can mention, but I have tons of them.
Yeah. So and that they change and evolve and grow with you as we age. And so when I was a kid, I wanted to be Celine Dion, like very
I
much.
heard
wanted
you
to be.
singing Celine Dion,
You have
and
heard
you
me
were
singing.
amazing.
Thank you, thank you. I try to embody the soul that Celine Dion has. But
And I'm not a Celine Dion listener. I gotta be honest, but
converts. I'm so
I'll
happy.
try. Titanic make my time with
That's a
Celine Dion.
good song. It's a really good song.
I agree with you, but I think it make me. I was done with it anyway.
But yeah, so when I was a kid, the thing is, in general, Portuguese music in general, when I was a kid, I didn't like it.
But it was something that you were listening at home, like
Yeah.
your parents were introducing to you, or it was like that. Like I'm gonna use me as an example at this moment. So at home, me and my wife, we play the songs and the music that we like. My son has to listen, like, unless he covers his ears, right? Not blasting song, but basically we believe that we kind of give him these experiences. That was what happening with you, like the music was playing at home, or it was like your parents, Jennifer, this is Portugal, this is part of the culture, I want you to listen. That was which way was
No, it was not like
Really?
that. It was like, this is what's on and that's it. Like, accept it. They never said that, but that was the that was what was implied. I feel like this is the music and it's on, and this is the radio, and this is what we listen to, and don't you like it? Like, maybe there was some of that. There was some encouragement. Like, yeah, I guess when I was a kid, I liked Apita Comboio because
that's a traditional song too, right?
yeah, like, because it's fun. There's a train sound effect in that. There's a woo woo sound effect. Of course, a kid is gonna like that.
If you go to a Portuguese wedding or any gathering, you're gonna listen to Pito Comboio.
Yeah,
That's
it's like the chicken dance.
I think it's a little bit better, but but anyway, that was it. You have to listen, and then how did you sing for the first time? What happened? Like,
Well, I have to go back to Portuguese music for a quick second, like quick sidebar, because we listen to a lot of like with the radio stations that we have now. So like a lot of Serve, a lot of Chin.
the Portuguese radio stations in Toronto.
Yes, the Portuguese radio stations in Toronto. And I think Carlos Payão would play. I liked Cinderella, again, because I was a child, and the concept of a song after Cinderella was to me like, oh, I like this. I like this character. I can imagine something pretty, even though I didn't really understand the lyrics. And then I think I listened to playback, and I don't think I liked it at the time. But now that I'm a grown woman, I love playback.
I love all the songs from
Playbacks.
Carlos Payão, all of them.
Carlos Payão slaps. Rip. You would have loved music today.
I would love to see it like 2026 Carlos Payão. It would be amazing.
Oh, it would be so good. Oh, we lost something. We lost a treasure. Anyway. Sorry, what was the question?
The question was, I already know that you have to listen, but I want you to try to recall the day that, okay, I'm going to try these. How did you feel? Like, how it was?
Oh, okay.
How it was it? What was the task? Like someone gave you a task?
I gave myself a task.
Okay.
So I was with my parents, as one is when they're a teenager. And I was with my parents, and we were watching like an infomercial for a CD, like a variety CD. And I got the idea. Like, I turned to my parents and I was like, I bet I could make you a mix CD of that Portuguese singer that you guys like. I think Amalia. And they're like, okay, sure. So I went, I downloaded a bunch of songs, Kazaa and what have you.
Which song it was?
Well, it was a whole bunch of them. I made a collection.
Okay.
And in this collection, I had to go through to make sure that all of the songs matched the file names. And one of them was not Amalia. It was Canção do Mar. It was Dos Pontes. And I was listening to it and I was thinking, oh, you know what? Actually, this is kind of cool. Like, it's a moody, synthy song. Like, it actually holds up. It holds up today. It holds up today in 2026. Like, that song is very good. And so I thought, you know what? This is actually a cool song. I kind of like it. Like, I love the synths, the way it opens. And, the little, like, the timpani, I guess, the little drum that plays as well. Like, everything is so really fantastic. And so I thought maybe if I learn this song, Canção do Mar, my mom will stop bugging me about why I'm not interested in my culture. It was a trap. Oh, no. They put just grass over top of it. I fell right through. So yeah, I learned that song just to get her off my back. She was always like, why aren't you interested in your culture? Why do you like Japanese cartoons so much? To me and my sister. Why are you always listening to Japanese music? Why don't you like Portuguese music? And I'm like, because it sucks. Obviously it does not. I was wrong. Okay, 15-year-old Jennifer was wrong. But yeah, I learned Canção do Mar and then I actually listened. I opened my ears and I listened to the lyrics and I read the lyrics and I paired that with the incredibly beautiful music and I was like, can I swear?
You can, absolutely.
I was like, oh shit, this is really good. This is really good. I wonder if the rest of the songs on this CD that I'm putting together are as good. And they were. They were. It was really good. They were all telling a story. They were all so rich. Like, it was a rich text in these Portuguese lyrics that they've been sitting around my whole life. And I've been adjacent to these lyrics and these songs my whole life. And I didn't know. I woke up to it.
Listen to you. It's just, I go back to my teenage, when I was a teenager in Portugal, right? For the times that I was growing up in Portugal. Listen to Fado, listen to Dos Pontes, all of those were normal, right? Mm-hmm. That was part of our daily basis. We turn on the radio, that was on it. I think even the teenagers would not even pay attention to that properly. We will not, I don't think that we have enough understanding, culturally speaking, at that moment. Even though that we go to school and everything, I think the culture is not cultivated the way that is when is an immigrant community. Mm-hmm. That leads to my question to you at this point. Being away from Portugal, do you think that you have more interest in find out that something that will connect you to your roots and your background rather than, let's say, if you grow up in Portugal?
I think it does. That's a very, very good question. Thank you for asking.
You're very welcome.
I think it does because I feel like I'm to this very second even. I feel like I'm constantly figuring myself out. I'm constantly in an identity crisis. I don't like it. I don't like being in an identity crisis. It's something I hope one day I will resolve. Maybe when I'm older. I don't know.
Identity as Jennifer or identity as a singer Jennifer?
As Jennifer.
All right.
So, yeah, I do think...
It is okay, by the way.
To have an identity crisis?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the problem about it?
I feel like I'm constantly crumbling. That's why.
First of all, that's the middle-aged thing, right?
Oh, that's true. I'm middle-aged.
That's the first. And then why wouldn't it be okay? I think that's honestly part of the artists, most of them issues.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me someone that you know that is connected to creative work that is, I already figured myself.
That's true.
Okay. So that's true. Yeah. Not that I want to cut you off, but I just want to tell that it is okay.
Thank you.
I don't see any problem of not figuring. I don't even figure myself out. I still have so many things. What am I doing over here right now? It's a person that figures himself.
Well, we're having a chat.
But you understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Yes.
But yeah, goes back to the thing.
Question at hand. Yeah, I feel like being removed from Portugal does help me want to actually reach out more. It's not as accessible. And but I want to reach out for a different kind of connection. Like I don't want to just consume what I have available. Like I want to look for it and I want to know what's recent because that's the thing with music especially or any media or art it moves so fast and things change and and the way I consume music and art and film and everything is very 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 slow because when I find one thing I kind of have
Deep in it.
yeah
All right.
and like it's I have emotional connections to what I listen to and what I consume and so if my emotions and my soul is crying out for this one thing like I'm gonna just go back to that one Marcia album from like 10 years ago because I just even though it's uh it's old. I feel like I'm going off on a tangent. I apologize, but even though it's old, it's what I want. But like I had to go find that, and I found that through like speaking with people. So it was actually a friend of mine in Lisbon, Carlota. She introduced me to Marcia. And after that, I just fell in love with this artist and her music. And then from there, I started looking for more and more and more. And I do feel like it's important because I have to work extra hard for it. But I how connected I feel. Like I like how connected I feel and that I can talk about it and I can bring it to my parents even and that's something new for them.
Of course.
Because I find that and this is not said with any sort of admonishment, but I find that when a group of people immigrate from their home country, they're sort of frozen in time.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of my parents and grandparents' experiences and their artistic loves were frozen when they left in the 60s and in the 70s. And that's very different from
So
now.
you feel like you bring to your parents something that they wouldn't able to see.
Yeah, I brought them Antonio Variações, which is weird because that was
their
before
time.
I was born.
Yeah.
It should be their time.
So
but
basically, you are kind of introduce culture to the family, right? It kind of leads to the actually thing that I was interested in understand. You perform, as you mentioned, in the very traditional places from the Toronto community, and also at It's Okay Studios where you release your album. So it's very two different things, right? As an immigrant myself, I have more interest in go for the places that I can listen what I want and I look for, right? And do you believe that you bring to the local communities within the Portuguese community, obviously, right? Because the other ones we know you do the new people to see Jennifer. Like the question basically is, do you feel like you move people because you bringing something that's like Fado is a very strong songs, right? Or they are very strong songs. This is just going around now, but basically that's what I really want to see and pick your brain about it. Like, because I was moved for it, right? And I really like to see, because when you perform for more than 15 years. I'm pretty sure that probably the first time that you performed was probably the people that were in there.
It was Casa do Alentejo.
There was Casa do Alentejo.
It was Casa do Alentejo.
Okay, amazing. Casa do Alentejo is amazing, right?
And I was not there as an official fadista either. I was there because the night kind of went sideways because the weather was really bad. So a lot of people didn't show up. And I don't actually know if all of the fadistas showed up as well, but it turned into a night of Fado Vadio. So my mom, when she booked our tickets, she said like, oh, my daughter sings too. And then I got there and Armando Viegas, the president at the time, was like, your mother said that you also sing Fado. And I was like, yeah, but I'm just here to attend. I'm just here as a guest. And he's like, well, let me hear you sing. And then I sang him a song. And then he's like, you're going to sing tonight. And I went, okay.
That makes sense, right? So in that day, you didn't move people, right? But after that day, and pushing back to the 15 years ago, and now moving forward to today's date, you have the power of introducing Fado to the kids of immigrants or to the kids of people that they born and raised in Portugal, and correct me if I am wrong, there's not too much to see, right? We have a night of fado, a Casa do Alentejo. I don't even know how many times they hear, and then we have an event in Mississauga, and you sing. If not every weekend, you sing very often.
I sing often.
Thank God, right? You sing often. That says something, right?
Yeah.
So not here to like kind of, oh my God, praise all of the things, but myself looking to it as an immigrant, coming from Portugal. I was raised and born in Portugal. So fado is not like that fascinating world that you were describing just 10 minutes ago, right? Or was it?
Yeah, it's because it's interesting that also begs the question of what is world music, what is global music? Because and a friend of mine told me this like years ago, and that like when he first posited the question, it blew my mind. I was like, whoa, you're right, because like in Portuguese music is not world music; it's just music, and like fado is fado, but
Is world music.
It's world music outside of Portugal.
If you go to talk to someone, people will talk fado, Ronaldo, and all of the things that we know, like it's in the same level, right? And that's exactly what I feel like. That basically, if you have, okay, that's tonight, let's go see Jennifer at Dorm Tavern, right? You probably have 70% of people that they know what you're doing, but they probably wouldn't be able to listen to the fado because they don't go to Casa do Alentejo or they don't go to whatever Portuguese club.
Yep.
Right? So that's something that I feel like it's interesting. And probably some of those people, they have Portuguese background and they wouldn't go. And then after they see you, they might want to go back again and again.
So I think to answer your question, I do move people into but do I move people into traditional venues or do I move people into non-traditional venues? That is a question I don't know if I can answer. I do think I do move some people into traditional venues. I do think it's easier to move people into non-traditional venues, weirdly enough.
Really?
But it's so hard, especially with fado, because there is such a diehard fan base who expects a fado night and not just a night of fado music. And they want a meal and they want
the full course.
The full courses of food as well as multiple singers.
Entertainment and multiple singers.
Yeah.
So what you basically is like they don't want to go just for see one, they want to see the whole entertainment and a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Rather than pick one.
Exactly. I do feel like I do have the ability to move people into traditional venues, especially if they want that experience. I have the ability to move audiences into traditional venues if that is what they're looking for. And if they haven't seen me before, I know my cousin Andrew, his in-laws have been looking forward to coming to see me at a night of fado, but they want the night of fado. They want that experience with the table and the appetizers and the soup and the
and it's so good, right? Let's be honest, it's very good. I think we all can relate to table food on the table will bring the community together.
Wine
And all the fun. And the reality is for most of us that we might miss our country because we were raised there or because we have the connections with the family relatives, everything together, right? Those little nights keep us a little bit more together and kind of like put a cold water on the feelings of missing back home or missing the family. And that's, at least for me, I wouldn't need that all day, to be honest with you. But I think when I go, I enjoy it. It evolved with the time. I gotta be honest. Evolved with the time.
Yeah.
With the time that I also, as longer as I stay, as more as I miss back home, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's it.
It definitely, like, the tradition serves as a panacea, in my opinion, and
It
just a salve. A salve is probably a very good way of putting it.
So all of these, let's wrap this up for all of these questions about you performing. Not finishing it, just all about you performing.
I got a little heart attack there. I'm like, no, I want to talk some more. I'm feeling chatty.
No, I want to say, or I want to ask, what do you feel when you go and you sing for a bunch of Portugueses. I want to know what's your opinion about it.
What do you mean? What do I feel?
Portuguese immigrants. Yes. How do you feel? I know that people like you. You're a very likable person in the community.
Aw.
We know about that.
Thanks.
And everyone respects you, and I know everyone respects you. The last time that I saw you singing, you were with a speaker in your hands. I was like, this is outside of this world, right?
Well, yeah, I gotta help.
It was amazing. I gotta be honest with you. I was I was very unexpected because every time that I see you is more in a professional set. In that moment, like you were improving. You could take that mic off and sing it like just a cappella, right? But anyway, I like to really know what do you feel about what do you feel when you go and sing for the Portuguese? Like
I'm scared. I get scared. I'm scared. I'm scared, guys. Yeah.
They're judgmental?
Yeah, because you've heard my Portuguese. You've heard me speak. I know you have heard me speak. You specifically. People know, it's no secret, and I do play it up on stage. So I do use that to my benefit. I take a weakness and I turn it into a strength. But it's almost always with a new audience. So if I go to a new strictly Portuguese venue, and I'm singing to a new audience who there may be people there who have heard me, but I don't know. And even if there are, like, even if like before the show starts, I see people in the audience like, oh, hey, I've seen you before. I recognize you. I get to see you again. Even if I know there are people in the audience who have come out to see me and who I know have enjoyed me in the past, I start thinking like, oh, what if this time they don't like me? And then that also gets paired with a majority of this audience is new. What if they don't like me? What if my jokes aren't funny? I know I shouldn't be cracking jokes singing fado, but that's just who I am.
I think that makes the whole experience more relaxable.
It does, and you can connect to it. I don't think there needs to be this huge disconnect between the artist and the audience because let's be real. Where did fado come from? Tavernas, and like who was singing fado?
When go ahead.
Sex workers.
Okay. I was hoping for you to say it.
Yeah. Like, let's be real. And before that, it was sailors.
But that's probably was the main reason of being connected to such a dramatic feeling, right? The way that I see it is within our community, which is a huge community, but also small. And I know the struggles on my end, right? I know sometimes it's hard for us to kind of crack the path.
Yeah.
That's what I want to get to understand from your side.
Yeah. Every time I go on stage, especially for a new audience, I'm scared. I'm nervous. I'm anxious. And everyone keeps telling me you don't need to be. And it's like, I know I don't need to, but it doesn't matter. This is what I feel. Like, I can't just like tell myself like, don't be scared. I mean, I guess I could.
I cannot tell someone just don't feel like that. You always can wish for it. But.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, they'll love you. And it's like, what if they don't? But then I gotta like work extra hard. And also it's just the humiliation.
What would be the worst that if they don't like you?
If they don't, I mean, I've definitely been on stage for certain crowds that were not into it. It's not necessarily like I look back on those very few handful of shows where the audience wasn't into it, and it wasn't a personal thing. I don't think it was me. It was just not the right setting for fado to be sung in. And so, you get so embarrassed. Like I get on stage and I'm like sweating buckets because I'm like, I can't just leave.
But
I have to.
Do you feel that people when listen fado, they automatically connect to tradition? You can, obviously, this is a rhetoric question. Every time that someone listens fado and they listen to whatever, we're educated in our ears to listen fado, and tradition is part of it. When you do something that is not that traditional, as per se, do you feel like people were expecting the traditional, or people were happy that you bring something new?
Oftentimes, and this was not always the case. This was not what I experienced the
Sorry
first
for the
few
question,
years.
though.
No. I appreciate the question. More often than not these days, it's appreciation for breathing life into the music and taking a fresh approach. But I also think that I don't think I completely shit on tradition. And I think people can pick up on the fact that I do have respect from where the music comes from, or at least the popular era of fado, when fado was popularized and standardized. I guess you can say it was also became a standard at that time. So you can see in my presentation that I'm not completely throwing caution to the wind and becoming an avant-garde performance, or making it an avant-garde performance. Like Dulce Ponch is avant-garde in so many ways. And it's
And
funny.
all the meanings, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I think people do appreciate more so than not the fact that I take a different approach to fado.
You know, the reason why I bring this up, I listen to many times people not being appreciated of the lucky that we have of living in Toronto and have a strong Portuguese community where you can take whenever weekend you want to be within the Portuguese community, you can, right? It's so many places that you can go, so many events that you can go. I have other friends from Portugal that I raised and I went to school. They emigrated into Europe. They don't have this.
Interesting.
Right? They don't have.
That's interesting.
At least from the ones that I know. Every time, maybe the place that they live or whatever. At this point, for my other conversations that I have with other immigrants outside of the Toronto, Canada specifically, say, hey, I went to the weekend. I went to this, like, oh, guys, you're so lucky. We don't have anything like this here. Or, oh, I went to the supermarket. I just bought a porquinho to do chouriço bombeiro. What? You can have that? Like, they get surprised how easy for us to go and take moments that we can connect with back home, right? So for these people that I see a lot of them complaining about whatever, they are so used to have these, they don't understand how lucky we are. You were raised here, and it's impossible for you to not connect with your roots, right? But for me, that I was raised in Portugal, and I came here, I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe for you, always like that, right?
It's funny because sometimes I'll speak to people in Portugal, like on social media, and I'll approach them like on my social media accounts where I'm not professional, just like my personal ones, and I'll approach them and I'll say, for an example, someone will be selling cravos in like, or earrings form, or like cravo jewelry, and it's like, I need to have that, and also I'd like to support an independent artist in Portugal. So I'll reach out and I'll say, I'd like to buy one of your pins, or like to buy this jewelry. These will go really well for my shows in April. And then they respond like, you sing fado in Canada? Wow, that's so cool. Like, thanks. I think so too. But I didn't think you would think it was that cool. Like,
So
you have the real deal at home.
There we go. That's exactly. People get surprised of what we have here, right? And picking on that, do you feel like supported enough from within and without the community, from the other artists, like, I don't know, other fado singers or the musicians or photographers, I don't know, technicians? Do you feel supported? Do you think that people support?
I certainly do. I mean, personally, I do.
That's great.
I do work really hard to keep my connections. I don't think I'm particularly passive. That's actually one of my biggest insecurities, is that I'm seen as lazy or completely passive or not doing the work. I don't think that's true. I may not be at every single event. I know that there are some people who go to every single event and go to multiple clubs, and I don't have the capacity.
You're just one person, though.
I am one person, and my social battery is actually quite small.
I can relate with that. I have to be honest. I actually talked about this before, right?
We've definitely talked about this, and it's a huge insecurity of mine. And then I get really nervous, and then when my social battery just completely gets obliterated, then I get really self-conscious. I get incredibly anxious. I become a very unpleasant person when that happens.
So next
but
time,
I do feel supported.
That's what I was to say. Next time that you feel that anxiety coming through, think about this conversation. You feel supported. Everyone supports what you're doing.
What have I done? I can't fall back on my excuses of, my social battery is drained. I just got to think of this conversation.
If you need, you go back on podcast, you go listen yourself, so you know that, you can kick out that anxiety.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But I do feel actually it does come with growth and confidence though. Because I felt very, very insecure when I was starting out. Also, because I grew up in Pickering, that does, I did have access to the Portuguese community, but not easily.
It's not that far from here anyway.
It's not that far from here. Now there are a lot more Portuguese people in Durham in general. Like Oshawa has 2 Portuguese clubs.
Yeah.
2 in Oshawa alone. But in Pickering, I came from a place that was super Canadian, and so I had very little connections, and so I was also quite young. I was in my early to mid 20s, and so I didn't feel as supported, but that's less feeling supported and more not having the confidence.
If you allowed me to say something about that, I think that makes a difference.
It does. It definitely does.
Because if you probably were dancing at rancho since you're 5 years old, or taking all of the things that people do here, I think that's the fact that you probably didn't went to like throw all of these when you were young. Mm-hmm. When you get to an age that you probably weren't looking for it, you already know how to sing, and you know how to read, or you know how to do it yourself. You could go do your own research, right? So it gets to a point that you are already old enough to understand the importance of what is culture, the importance of the lyrics, right? And the importance of the lyrics make you want to speak more Portuguese, or make you to go looking for more I don't know, words, meanings.
It absolutely did. I tell people whenever people who haven't heard me speak Portuguese in a while reconnect with me, and it's like, oh, your Portuguese has gotten better. I tell them, yeah, the singing really helps. the fado really, really helps. I've learned so many poetic words. Like, I didn't realize that, like, because I always knew the word for face was cara, but then I learned the word rosto, and I'm like, oh, that's so much more poetic. Oh, gosh, rosto, I'm going to use that. And like, gaivota in the Azores, seagulls are ganhões, from what I understand. So like, that's a different word. And also, I guess there's the vernacular from the islands is different because I'm split. I'm a mix. I'm a mutt.
Mainland and island?
Yes.
That's perfect.
My mom
That's a perfect mix, though.
I love it. I think it's a perfect mix.
I think that's an amazing mix.
2 cultures, man.
And
2 very different cultures.
There's no arguments about it. That's it.
There's no arguments. I mean, there is, but
I say there is no arguments about it. Let's keep it like that.
I agree.
We talk about these all traditions, community. We been doing a lot of these Portuguese related because you sing fado, so that's no way of seeing any other way. But as you, Jennifer, I see you in rock live shows. I see you whatever, right? If you wouldn't sing fado, what would you be singing?
Oh man. There's so much. I just want to sing. Like I love to sing. That's the thing, is I'm a singer through and through. I would love to play more instruments, but ultimately I'd love to sing. I wish I could sing opera. I don't think I would make or pursue singing opera if I could. I just wish I could do it. I just wish I had the skill. I do not have the skill, but I wish I could. But if I weren't singing fado, I would love to sing jazz. If I couldn't sing jazz, then I would love to sing like jazz and blues. Like I love me some jazz and blues. And
so you need to do a mix.
I would love to do a mix, but I would also love to sing like electronic sort of indie music. I love electronic
indie.
Yeah, electronic indie music. But then the thing is, there's always that like part of me that would love to do something like Within Temptation and just have an incredibly heavy metal band behind me, and just, yeah, you know what? I get it. It's tacky. It's gauche. It's cringe. I don't care. I may be cringe, but I am free. I love the juxtaposition like that. I love the gothic operatic vocals with the metal band in the back. Like, I love
what
that.
happened if we strip that all the way?
What?
Everything, like the gender, the electronic. Like, let's say it would be you and no influence. What would happen? Like, let's say you would create your own style.
Mm-hmm. Well, it would be tinged with fado. We'll put it that way, because that's well, you start singing fado and then it's all you sing and that's the only way you can sing. So I sing with a lot of turns in my voice. If you strip it away, you would just get me, which is very vulnerable. That's kind of scary.
Sorry for asking questions.
No, it's okay. I don't know how to answer that. This is a very vulnerable question. It would sound like fado.
All right.
It would
Do you
probably
ever
sound
think about
very
that?
no, not too much. Occasionally, yes.
The reason why I ask this question
Yes.
is because I put myself in that position a lot. Who I would be if I don't have a camera in my hand, as an artist, obviously, right? Realistic speaking, that's my head. I look at places and I froze them in time. So inspired on my own strip it away kind of a concept, I was interested in understand what would be on your hand, right? And that's why I asked that question, because I think sometimes as an artist we put so many layers of I would love this, I love that, I want to do this, I want to do that, but in what it is where we are when we take all of it, right? That's a thing that I normally put myself in that position, and when I'm not too much inspired to create, that's normally where I go.
Interesting. Well, I would still sing. I think singing is my only constant. Singing is the only thing where it's like if I lost my voice, I don't know if I would know how to live. If I'm being perfectly honest. It would be a very emotional self. That's a very tricky question.
Sorry,
you have to ask everyone this question, right? This has got to be like the
No,
question.
I don't know. I ask you. I ask you because
What were you hoping I would say?
I asked you because, well, that's no secret for anyone at this point that we are friends outside of this moment right now, and I know that we share some of our thoughts in moments that we have. Sometimes we both working and we have like little 5 minutes and our conversation is never ending, and we are getting interrupted all the time. And I think like I believe that this question make us think a lot, right? And the reason why I believe that you could be, first of all, because you're my second guest, right? That's the thing. And for that reason also, I'm also testing this out. I don't know exactly what this is gonna lead to. I have a bunch of writing stuff over here. I don't even know if I use half of it because our conversation goes sideways, right? But the reason why I think that would be interesting to listen to you, because we have different ways of expressing ourselves, and you are the first one that I ask. Like in the real world, I don't used to ask this question, and asking this question also comes with understanding if you believe that you could bring fado to a different kind of world. Like
I do.
Yeah.
I think I could bring fado to a different kind of world. I think, God, I'm also so shackled by my inability to speak Portuguese fluently, or at least fluent enough to then understand prose and poetry, because writing in Portuguese is not the same as writing in English. Like writing Portuguese prose is so different, worlds different than writing prose in English. And I feel like even if I understood, like I understand song structure, but understanding it well enough to write a lot of music and in another language is so inhibiting. It's not I don't know if that's the right word. Limiting. I feel trapped. I feel very trapped by my brain.
I understand that because English is not my first language, even though that we're speaking English right now. However, I think that's pushing us to do more and learn more. And this is also my perspective, obviously. This is also connected. And the fact that you go to learn those musics 15 years ago, understanding the Portuguese, looking for more meanings, you just discover that rosto, it's probably more poetic, that cara, and that's fascinating, right? And that's something that the art can do to the people in general. They can educate them, they can teach them, they can get them together, regardless of the gender, regardless of if I like, I don't like, right? Everyone might be connected for something. And I believe that we have the power to bring someone interests to, I don't know, maybe someone that never heard Fado, and they might listen, introduce it to Fado. So we bring it to someone else's culture. That makes sense what I'm saying? Like, you understand? Like, the concept about it is having this network that either we can bring a culture, or either we can bring whatever we love to do.
I do find that I have encountered a number of people from, not just Canadians, but like outside of the Canadian and Portuguese.
I was more referring to the part of us evolving, when we evolve to something else, when we, like in your case, you bring Fado from a different world, right? That's more in that way, because every time that you connect with someone different, they will have a different perspective of
That's true.
what we're doing. Make what we do to get to a different world, a different places, a different people, making them having different perspectives. I mean, come on, it's a beautiful thing to do. That's what I'm trying to get to a point to. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
You are thinking a lot right now.
I am thinking a lot. I'm overthinking it.
Tell me what's going through on your mind.
I don't even know how to parse an answer for that, actually.
Again, you don't have to have an answer for everything. It's just thoughts. I don't have an answer for not even those questions. It's just thoughts, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. We're thinking about it.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I feel good. This has been really good.
Did you think that did you feel that is over an hour?
I think it might be over an hour. What time is it now?
It is over an hour.
Oh my God.
I have a stopwatch here. It's over an hour.
Well, how long are the episodes? They're half hour?
It's as much as we want.
Okay. I feel our conversation has been incredibly natural. Our conversation's been flowing very well. So
you feel okay with what we're doing?
I feel great, actually. Like I'm really happy with the questions you're asking, and it's given me an opportunity to say things I haven't been able to actually verbalize or share with someone. I don't
want to make this as an interview, but
no, you're asking questions I want to answer.
For us to have a conversation, it's we have to ask questions. Like,
yeah, but they're good questions, and also I'm comfortable enough to answer them, and it helps that I'm being able to answer in English where we're way more articulate. But also, no, you've asked me questions that I think I've wanted to talk about. Like, I feel like I wanted people to ask me.
And you can always come back.
Yay, have me back for another episode.
Of course.
My hair might be longer then. Who knows?
You look amazing with that haircut.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you to Darlene, right?
Yeah, thanks, Darlene.
For us to wrap.
Okay.
What's coming next?
What is coming next? There's actually quite a bit. Like, literally in my calendar, I've got 5 or 6 shows coming up in the next 3 months. So that's
gonna be a busy summer.
It's gonna be a busy late spring.
Okay,
late spring to early summer. Summers are almost always really quiet because all the Portuguese people go on vacation. All the Portuguese people go back to Portugal for the real fado.
That's original fado. Original.
They go back to the motherland to get the purest essence of fado. I'm the pure essence of fado. What am I talking about? I don't need to put myself down like this. No, they go back to Portugal. And so I find a lot of people, and even Canadians, they're on vacation in the summer. They don't necessarily want to go to shows. So summer tends to be quiet, but that's actually a time where I do like to hustle. So summer is a time where I'm trying to put myself out there, but I am really trying to find venues that would be appropriate for fado or a fado night that are not conventional. That are unconventional. And I want to be able to bring in more and more and more new audiences, or just bring new people into the fold, because there's no reason to dislike a music because you don't understand the lyrics. There's no reason to dislike a music because you don't understand the lyrics. That's not.
I agree with you.
Music is not here to spell it out for you. It's literally spelled out in the lyrics, sure, fine, but it's not just the lyrics. What do you feel when you listen to it? What do you feel when you even hear the words? Like, what do you think the words are saying?
The way that you're singing, the way that you put the body language.
Exactly. What do you glean from my face?
Yeah.
Because my face is telling a story. Sorry.
No worries.
My face tells a story. My body tells a story. I will talk about it a little bit after the song, but also don't be afraid. And so I'm trying to always find new venues to bring people into the fold, as I mentioned, and keep them there if possible.
So keep us posted, though. Keep us posted. I think everyone that follows our work will be easily informed where you're going to perform for the next time, and they can reach you out on your socials, all of that, right? I want to make a final note.
Okay.
Again, I said at the beginning that I was super happy that you accept my invitation to come to the show. And I would say this as this is my perspective of my interaction with Luso Canadians that were raised and born in Canada. I'm going to use an example from one conversation that we have not so long ago. I'm not going to get into details, but you were telling me about something that when you went to Portugal, you were looking at something at RTP1, right? And you know what I'm talking about.
Can I say it?
If you want to say it, it's up to you.
It's a Filha de Cornélia. It was Filha de Cornélia? Is that what we're talking about?
It was Filha de Cornélia.
Yes, Filha de Cornélia.
So it makes me think, like, in that day we were both working. I was covering an event. We were covering there was an event for raising funds for the natural disasters in Portugal, right? Orem.
Yeah.
So, and we were like, again, in our breaks, little breaks, we're drinking about it. And you were so passionate about it. You were talking about that show like with a passion that you wouldn't find any Portuguese raised and born in Portugal talking about that. And then it's fascinating to me. Like the way that the things, because you have different perspectives, they will move you. You have an app on your phone where you can watch your TV and RTP Memória was like, oh my God. I don't
need my arquivos.
It's RTP Arquivo?
Yeah, RTP Arquivo.
Sorry. I thought it was RTP Memória.
It's pretty much the same thing.
It is?
I think.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, let's find out one of these days. But the reason I'm saying this is I want to say, and again on record, that is so important that our culture is cultivated this way. That you could not just say anything, but you are passionate about it. Our Portuguese culture in Canada and the way that you go and you look for archives and you are doing this and talk about it, share with me. And I was like, I remember that TV show. Actually, we were talking with someone else. It says, I remember that, but I don't even pay attention. It was like, and you were so passionate about it. I was like, this is something. This is what does the fact that a show on the TV cross oceans. Right, and connects you to your family roots. So that's my wrap up. Obviously, you have your time to comment on it. There's no more questions, but I want to say this. I want to say this to you, and I want to say this on record. Like, it's fascinating to see you bringing that to a conversation that we could just talk about something else, but we decided to talk about that.
Aw, thank you. That's very kind of you to say, because everyone thinks I'm so weird for being so obsessed with a Filha de Cornélia. Part of it is probably nostalgia, I guess, but that one time I was in Portugal in 1994 with my sister and my parents, and that's also the time where I learned about Vitinho, and I also developed a deep-seated hatred for Vitinho. I don't like him. How dare
Because I have to go to the bed?
Yes.
I know, right?
But also, I was on vacation, right?
You don't want to go to the bed at the Vitinho time.
No. Who's he to tell me when to go to bed? I'm with my parents and they're still up and they haven't told me to go to bed. Screw you, Vitinho.
For those who don't know Vitinho, search on YouTube. It might be helpful. And again, thank you so much for coming. If you want to add something to this moment, it's all yours.
You can find me I'm on Instagram, so you can find me at all one word, Jennifer Sings Fado. What do I do? Jennifer Sings Fado. So yeah, you can find me there at Instagram, and you can find my booking email address there. You can also just like if you forget Jennifer Sings Fado or you don't have Instagram, you can just Google Jennifer Bettencourt Fadista Toronto ?
And it will show up everywhere.
Probably show up. You probably find a picture of me with long hair. You might even find a picture of me with blonde
Even
hair.
this episode, it will show up now.
It's true. Yes, this thumbnail will show up if you search for Jennifer Bettencourt Fadista Toronto ? And I really hope that people come out and see me sing. And please, I do think that a Jennifer Bettencourt show or a Fado night where Jennifer Bettencourt is on the roster is going to be a really good Fado night. I mean, honestly, a Fado night even without me in Toronto is going to be a good Fado night. I just want to say my peers are incredible. They're incredible.
Absolutely.
All the Fadistas in the community are incredible. But if you're curious, because I'm a bit weird, thank you, come out and see me. And I would love to see people at not just the Portuguese restaurants and the clubs, but the little concert venues and the other unconventional spaces that I occasionally sing at. So come out and see me sing and come and say hi. That's the other thing is I do like to say hello.
Hello.
I do like to say hello. I do like to chat.
You like people to say hello or hello?
Both. Hola, hi.
Hola. All right. I think that's incredible. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
You always invited to come to talk to me in this show.
Thank you so much for having me. This was such a good time. Such a good time. Such a good time.
We're done.
TheArtistCut.